it's Yuri Elkaim and welcome to this video in which I'm going to talk you through and walk you through how to do a one-day fast. Now before I help you do that, I'm going to just really quickly tell you why doing a fast, just one day, or known as intermittent fasting, is actually really good for your health. If you think about all major religions in the world, fasting is somewhere in there. Whether it's Yom Kippur or Ramadan, for centuries and eras and a long period of time, people have recognized the benefits and the health benefits of not eating food for a certain amount of time. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, because in your body, when you are not digesting food, you are diverting energy to a process known as autophagy, which is essentially kind of a recycling and getting rid of junk type of process that your body is able to go through when it doesn't have to worry about digesting food all the time. So from a fat loss perspective, it actually has a lot of benefits. It helps to regulate hormones, improve blood sugar. It actually increases a couple different enzymatic processes and something called uncoupling protein 5, which increases fat burning even more. And there's a number of other little things that you don't really need to know about, but just understand that fasting is very beneficial. It's also one of the only ways we know of to extend lifespan. And this has been shown in a lot of different animal studies, and it's very cool what we can do with nothing, right? So sometimes the best environment for your body to be in is one in which there's nothing for it to deal with other than its own junk that it has to repair. And that's why not eating, at least for a day, can be very good for you. Now, with that said, let's look at 5 ways to do it, because you may have tried it, or you may, maybe a little bit apprehensive, and you're saying to yourself, well, oh my God, my metabolism's gonna drop and I'm not gonna lose any weight if I'm not eating food. Nonsense. Or if I don't eat any food, my muscles are gonna just, disappear. Nonsense. Here's something you should probably understand. Fasting and sleep and intense exercise have the exact same impact on growth hormone, which basically means they all increase growth hormone. And what is that beneficial for? Well, muscle mass. So yes, by actually not eating for about a day, you actually do your muscles a great service by increasing growth hormone. So there you go. Okay, so with that said, let's jump into the 5 ways to help you do a one-day fast. Number 1 is very important, and it's about committing, okay? So like with anything, you embark upon a journey, the first most important thing you have to do is you have to just say, listen, I'm gonna do this, that's it, right? Because if you kind of if you're wishy-washy and you're not too sure and you give yourself a bit of a safety net saying if I do it and I don't like it, I'm gonna go back, it's never gonna happen, okay? I'm gonna just be very honest with you, it's not gonna happen. You need to declare that tomorrow is gonna be a fast, or one day during the week is gonna be your fast day, or at least at the very minimum just one day in your life is going to be a one-day fast. So maybe that for you, maybe it's a Friday fast, right? Fasting Fridays, whatever you want to call it. But the whole thing is you need to commit, because once you make that commitment, there's a lot of power in that. And it's amazing that once you say, I'm not going to eat any food for that specific day, it's actually pretty cool, because a lot of the problems people have with fasting is mental. It's associations to, oh my God, I'm stressed out, I have to eat, or I'm doing this, therefore I should be eating at the same time. And these are all based on patterns of conditioning. So when you commit to saying, I'm not gonna have any food for one day, whether it's tomorrow or whatever day it is of the week, then there's power in that. And there's a lot of, I believe in you, because you've done other things in your life where you've committed to something and made it happen, right? I guarantee there is. So you can do this as well, and you're not going to disappear into thin air if you don't eat food for one day. Cool? Number 2 is, I'm going to come back to number 2 in a second, okay? So I'm going to go to number 3 first. Get out. Get out of the house. Get out of the house, get out of the kitchen, because if you're like me and you work from home, there's a lot of temptations. If I'm doing a one-day fast at home, guess what I'm gonna start thinking about when I start getting hungry? Oh, the kitchen's right there, I can get some food. Not the best environments. Remember, your environment will always trump willpower. It doesn't matter how committed you are, if you are sitting in a kitchen for 24 hours or however many hours, you will be tempted by food. So get out of the house, get out of the kitchen, get busy, go outside, just do stuff, run errands all day, whatever you have to do, okay? It'll make a huge difference for you. Number 4 is drink lots of water. A lot of times when you think you're hungry, you're really not. You're actually just thirsty. So drink plenty of water, and water actually curbs your appetite. It actually decreases one of your hormones called ghrelin, which tells your brain that you're hungry. So if you drink more water, and actually even if you're drinking water before your meals, it actually helps reduce the amount of food you eat in the subsequent meal. So it's just a really good strategy. Plus, most of us are not drinking enough water anyways. So drink your water, okay? So you want to be drinking about half of your body weight in pounds in ounces per day. So if you weigh 170 pounds like I do, that would be, I think that's 85 ounces, right? If I could do my math. So 85 ounces, that's almost 3 liters of water. So you're basically just drinking all day long. Cool? And yes, you can have herbal teas if you want, right? Totally cool. Just make sure there's no caffeine, make sure there's no stuff added to them, just peppermint tea, stuff like that, totally fine. Okay, so let's go back up to, I want to hit number 2 and number 5 together. So I'm going to start with number 5, and the target here is 18 to 24 hours. So that's where the science shows us that the real benefits kick in at about 18 hours. You don't really need to go beyond 24. If you want to, I don't know why you would, but 24, you know, is kind of the one day type of thing. 18 hours seems to be the point at where you get this kind of inflection point where a lot of the benefits really start to kick in. So that's what you want to be aiming for. Now, in order to make that happen easily, here's what I'd suggest, is that you start your fast after dinner. So here's why. Let's say you have dinner at 6 o'clock, or if you've got kids like I do, you have dinner at 4 o'clock, the early bird special. So let's say you've got dinner at 6, you finish dinner at 6:30, you digest, and let's call it 8 is when your body is in somewhat of a fasted state after it's digested. So your fast is going to begin at 8 o'clock at night. Let's say you go to bed at 10, right? So you've got 2 hours, then you've got 10 o'clock bedtime. Let's say you sleep until 7 in the morning. So now you are at 11 hours of fast. Right? You fasted 11 hours and most of that's just been sleeping. So now if we want to hit our 18-hour target, we are looking at another 7 hours of being in a fasted state. So that's essentially 7 in the morning until about 2 in the afternoon. So can you last until 2 o'clock in the afternoon without food? I will tell you physiologically the answer is yes. And if you've got a lot of body fat, the answer is double yes. Because remember, your body, if it doesn't have food coming in, what is it going to use as fuel? It's not going to use your muscle mass, okay? Not initially. It's going to go into your fat reserves. So if you have, for instance, someone like, if you're 350 pounds and you have a lot of body fat, then you're probably going to have an easier time physiologically, in theory, fasting than somebody who has a very, very little percent body fat, because there's not as much fat for that person to use in a fasted state. So if you're on a deserted island together, that skinny person is going to not last very long versus the person who has a lot of fat, because fat is a very energy dense fuel source. So if you have a lot of it, your body's going to use that. Whereas if you don't, then you're not going to be able to last as long. Either way, one day you'll be fine. If we're talking about 30 days, a little bit different. I wouldn't recommend 30 days in the first place. So start after dinner, make it until, again, in this case, if we're starting our fast at 8 o'clock at night, we go until 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the minimum, and then we go ideally again for another 6 hours if you can. But here's the, I've led a lot of people through these, and I can tell you that the biggest downfall is that people are always too hard on themselves. Oh, I only made it 17 and a half hours. Oh, I only made it 16 hours. Don't worry about that, right? It's all about progress, not perfection. Don't worry about if you don't hit 18 hours or if you don't hit 24 hours. The first time you do it, just do it. And whatever you can do, you can do. And use that first time as a learning experience to understand why you feel that you have to eat. Because I'm telling you, you don't. Believe me, you have enough glycogen, you have enough fat in your body to survive. So the only other reason that you would eat is because of what's happening up here. And that's a very, very important thing to be aware of. And that's the beauty of doing a one-day fast. In addition to the physiological and fat loss benefits, is that it gives you a level of awareness about why you eat what you do and when you do that is really unparalleled. You can't get that type of intel from really anything else that I'm aware of. So it's a very, very valuable process to go through this. And it's actually so powerful that it's one of the days in my 5-day food cycling formula that is kind of the foundation of my upcoming book, The All-Day Fat Burning Diet. So in this book, I actually show you how to use a one-day fast in your just day-to-day living so that you can help reset your metabolism and lose up to 5 pounds per week. And the reason I say that is because we've led hundreds of people through this very program and perfected it to the level where it's almost predictable. So whether you're looking to lose your first 50 pounds or your last 10, this 5-day food cycling formula, which also uses this one-day fast in it, is very, very effective. And the cool thing is that's a very intuitive way of eating. Some days high, some days low, some days yes, some days no. That's kind of the little rhyme that I like to use. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense because you probably don't feel like eating a lot of food all the time. Some days you may want to have breakfast, some days you may want to have a little bit of breakfast or nothing at all. And that's totally fine. The problem is that we've all been brainwashed into believing that we have to eat 5 or 6 times a day, we have to have breakfast, we have to have this, we have to do this, otherwise we're going to disappear, we're going to gain fat, we're not going to lose weight, and it's all nonsense. So in the book, I kind of dispel a lot of those myths. I show you the 6 fat triggers that are holding you back from losing weight, and then I walk you through this proven 5-day food cycling formula which incorporates this one-day fast to help you lose fat and keep it off for good. So if that's something of interest to you, you can check out the book. The link for that is below. When you actually pre-order the book actually releases in December. When you get the book now, you will actually be getting 4 really cool bonuses, and we're adding new bonuses every single month leading up to the book's release. So that's my way of saying thank you and for rewarding you for making a very smart decision to helping you get a lean, strong, healthy body. And there we go. So I hope this has helped you out with how to do a one-day fast. It's amazingly beneficial. It's fairly simple, amazingly insightful. Give it a shot. Let me know how it goes, and I'll see you in the next video.